Hello everyone, this is Anji Kills a King by Evan or Ivan Leikam. And before I get to that, this is A Forest of Vanity and Valour by A.P. Beswick. Now, there are, I think it's 6 actual books in the series, and then there's adding a prequel, and I think there's like a book 4.5 and a 4.6 or something, and I don't understand why. Not to try to sound too clever in dismissing a book, because sometimes when people get critical of something, it's almost like they're having a "this is about me and how clever I am" channel, but that's not the point. This is one of the worst books I've ever read, and I think the only reason you should buy this is if you are an aspiring writer and you want to have a lesson on how not to write a book. The dialogue, the prose, the sentences, the paragraphs, the story, it's completely and utterly stilted. It's like somebody did an outline, then did a really fast first draft, and somebody said, okay, and published it. This is just not good at all. There's these quick, for example, this dude, he's actually a nobleman, and he's recruited by this one fellow and others to go collect taxes, and they're pretty brutal about it. And he goes back to his mansion when he's done with his job, and he's not giving this life up for nothing, except for this one woman he's having an affair with, who out of nowhere just says, hey, let's run off together, and he goes, okay. She gets fridged, by the way. We have no idea who she actually is or what she's about. She's just some other nobleman's mistress, or no, were they married? I don't care. So they were together, but the lead guy in this is having an affair, and then she just wants to run off, and then they get caught, and she gets fridged to set him up so he becomes a rebel. Ugh. This is it's just not good. This is like, if you like this, you probably think things like the second Predator movie is better than the first Predator movie or something. It just not good reading at all. It's quick. I actually read word for word about the first 100 pages, mostly out of, my God, how bad this can be. It's like a train wreck. And I just had to keep reading. And then after that, I got a little tired of it, and I kind of skimmed the rest, and I don't know, the goodish guys win. Spoiler alert. Anyway, on the opposite side of the spectrum is this little gem here. Again, and Anji Kills a King. Now, I've had a number of good book recommendations from watching booktubers. A Short Stay in Hell from Chanel Chapters. What was another one? My favorite last year was Seasons of Albion, and that came via watching a Tori Tekken video. This came from watching what's her name? That one booktuber, Murray Slapper or something. Yeah, you know who she is. And watching video, this just, bam, here you go. Here's this really neat book I'm going to read. And I went ahead and got it right away, put it ahead of the TBR. Everybody who I think is reviewed it said it's the cover that got me. The story itself is pretty basic. It's something you've heard before. There's a captor and a captive, and they go on a travel adventure. So if that's not your thing, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't have a thing or not thing in this case, so I went ahead and got it, and I actually really enjoyed this. We have a lesson in don't get to know your heroes. Hunting Anji here, because Anji kills the king and she gets caught. This lady called Hawk, and she is part of a group called the Menagerie. I'm going to forget. Well, let me see if I can remember the names. So there's Hawk, Ox, Lynx, and Goat. So I think I remember them all. Is that all of them? Come on. Let's not delay and bore the viewers. Here we go. Hawk, Goat, Ox, Lynx, Bear. Forgot Bear. And they are the, let's say, bounty hunters, the official bounty hunters of the kingdom. They get hired, and they go get the bad guys. Anji here is, how should we say, she's a low-level character. I don't mean her character is just low-minded. I mean she's a beginner. She's had some training. She has some experience because she has been orphaned. Her parents were, I think, if I'm not mistaken, not poor but not rich, just kind of there, well-to-do-ish. They were part of a little underground rebel group with a newspaper called The Tide, and this was to upset the kingdom and possibly rebel. And they got caught and killed, and she was taken away and put in the castle as a servant. And when she had a moment, just like that, he didn't suspect, kills the king. She looked upon the world as destitute, and he was the reason it happened. We get a interesting lesson here, and I made me want to look up some information. How much did she change? Because her captor sticks it in her face. You killed this guy. What happened? Did everybody just get rich all of a sudden? Are there still poor in the streets? Are there still people vying for power in his place? Yes. So what did you really change just killing this one guy? Did you have any repercussions at all? And as they travel and she sees how things are, she realizes she really hasn't done much. And so I looked through a bit, and for example, there are times when you've committed your assassination, Lincoln for example, and it made the tensions between the North and the South worse. But when Ferdinand was assassinated in 1914, they said this set off World War I, or was the catalyst for World War I. That's a big event. There were repercussions. But did anything actually really change? No. There's the haves and their have-nots. And all through history, no matter who was killed, someone else just filled in the role, and it continues. I forget the names. The guy's name was Luigi, who killed the head of the health insurance company. Did health insurance change? Did he make we certainly made a point, but no one's changing anything. Although I understand the company that that CEO was the head of is being investigated for Medicare fraud, so maybe a little something came out of that. But the point being, you have to do more. You just kill off one person, nothing changes. You still have haves and have-nots. And really, it doesn't mean so much that it should be that you can have haves and have-nots. It's just, why do the have-nots have to be so goddamn poor? Rent today is sky high. I have to work 6 days a week to be able to pay my current crop of bills. Ugh. And so Anji doesn't, although I'm hardly poor, I got a friggin' phone and a microphone and a great big TV casting light on my page right now. I'm doing pretty good compared to most people who ever walked the earth. But that's kind of, that's an evolution of, well, we can't make people that destitute most of the time because they might do something about it. And that does happen. But eventually it almost sounds like the real lesson here is you can't just kill one person. You got to kill a lot of people who you consider the bad guys in order to make change. That seems to be the lesson here, and it's a macabre one, but it's kind of true. People fight wars for reasons. Hawk. So a lot of the times when you get these sort of buddy travel adventures, I think what usually happens is at the end, they wind up, getting along, and there's, oh yeah, we had our adventure. We could have been friends or something. Not here. I won't ruin it for you, but this is a tragedy for a character. This is, it's a conflicted ending between two people. It's pity and sorrow and sympathy and enemies. And this is not a lighthearted adventure. There are violent things that happen in this. It doesn't go over the top, but this is a violent adventure. This is not lighthearted. And the ending certainly isn't either. This is Anji here. I thought maybe this is a standalone. It's called The Rising Tide Book 1. So it's kind of a built-in spoiler that your star is going to make it to the next book. And what she becomes at the end of this, I didn't see till it got down to the end. I thought, as I got, because it's only 344 or 5 pages, and as it got past the 300th page, I'm like, they got quite a bit to wrap up here. And you run into these moments where the author's still describing things in some detail. Here's the room they walked into, here's some detail. Here's the person they meet, here's some detail. It's like, okay, he doesn't spend too much time doing that. It's just enough description, and it moves on. But at the same time, you're like, this is taking up space in a book that's almost over. Well, it's going to happen here. And it wraps up nicely at the end, and I actually like how it all strung together at the end for one character or another. So this is a good book. And I want to say, if you're not wanting to start a series, you can actually read this as a standalone. I think it stands by itself with the ending. There's enough open at the ending that there's obviously going to be a continuation, but you could stop right there and say, that's a good ending to a story, and I don't need any more. I think I'll probably go ahead. I want to find out what happens to Anji herself. So usually in these types of stories, you've got the basically serious one who's taking the captive somewhere, and the captive's a bit of a smartass, and that's what this is here. It's like she has a self-control problem with her mouth, and this book starts where her self-control goes beyond her mouth and she kills someone. I found she's the only viewpoint character. This is all through her view, and she's a good viewpoint character to have. So I enjoyed this very much, and I think most people will too. So genre switch. Next book, Generation Ship, a novel by Michael Mamey, right there. So interesting enough, in this riveting standalone novel, from Michael Mamey, author of Planet Sci, which I did not read, the beginning of a new human colony must face tyrannical leaders, revolution, crippling instability, and unknown. Sometimes I run these together. Tyrannical leaders, revolution, crippling instability, and an unknown alien planet that could easily destroy them all. This is a bit of a long description here, but I'll go through it. In 2001, colony ship Voyager departed the Earth for the planet of Promisa, with 18,000 of the world's best and brightest on board. 250 years later, and 27 light years later, an arrival is imminent, but not all is well. The probes they have sent ahead to gather the data needed to establish any kind of settlement aren't responding, and the information they have received has presented more questions than answers. It's a time when the entire crew should be coming together to solve the problem, but Science Officer Sheila Jackson can't get people to listen. With the finish line in sight, a group of crew members want an end to the draconian rules that their forebears put in place generations before. However, Security Force Officer Mike Rector and his department have different plans. As alliances form and fall, Governor Jared Pantel sees only one way to bring Voyager citizens together and secure his own power, a full-scale colonization effort. Yet he may have underestimated the passion of those working for the other side. Meanwhile, a harsh alien planet awaits that might have its own ideas about being colonized. A battle for control brews, and victory for one group could mean death for them all. So that is next, and whether I like this or not, when I do a video for this one, I'm going to throw in some other generation colony ship type books as recommendations, just to follow on the heels on it that I've liked over the years. Well, that's it then. See you in a week. Oh, I did a video in a week. So thankfully, this wasn't a chunker. I can get done in a week and keep up my pace. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye-bye then.